Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the one thing that everybody has been asking me to talk about involving two of my three favorite teams. It's an idea brought on by Arpon Basu on The Athletic. And because it's The Athletic, again, we're not screenshotting this, we're just going to link the article in the description and go over a few tweets that summarize everything. But pretty much this idea involves both the Montreal Canadiens, my second favorite team, and the Detroit Red Wings, my third favorite team. So because my two favorite fandoms are involved in this idea, I guess it was kind of inevitable to talk about it. I was kind of avoiding it at first, though, to be honest, because it was mostly just a suggestion, not really a rumor or anything, just an idea brought into the stratosphere that was discussed internally. But then I kind of thought about it and I was like, you know what? That's kind of what this hockey channel's about, right? It's about discussion. It's about opening your mind to different ideas and discussing it internally. So what we have here is an idea brought on by Arpon Basu and Marc-Antoine Godin. They were looking at some of the things the Canadiens could do in the offseason on their article. Again, a link in the description to the article if you do have The Athletic. One suggestion is to trade Matt Domi for a player in a situation that is similar, aka an RFA situation. They bring up Anthony Mantha. They're the same age, coming off of contracts with nearly the same average annual value, and they have produced at the same points per games played throughout their career. They argue Domi could slot behind Larkin as a 2C, which is a hole for Detroit. Now, before we continue, yes, 2C is a hole for Detroit. We did make a video about that earlier on, debating on whether or not Tyson Jost or Alex Kerfoot of the Avalanche and the Leafs, respectively, could be what is needed to fill that hole, but I think the common consensus in the comment section of that video was just, hey, why don't they at least just try Robbie Fabry as a 2C because he was pretty good. But the bottom line is, yes, we have discussed the second-line center thing before, and Arpon Basu and Godin believe that Domi could be a second-line center in Detroit. Getting Mantha for Domi alone probably wouldn't be enough. So they suggest throwing in Victor Mete in the deal, since Detroit does not have much depth on D. And immediate thoughts right there, I think that this would be a Detroit loss. Yeah, I said it. This is an article based primarily towards the Montreal Canadiens fan base, since Arpon Basu is a primary Canadiens writer for The Athletic. And that's kind of why a lot of Habs fans, in my opinion, were sending this to me because, hey, you know, talk about this. Domi, Mete, Mantha, would you do it? Is it fair? In my opinion, it's not really all too fair, because this is the kind of trade that if Steve Yzerman made it, it would seem to me that it's more of a trade just for making a trade, not necessarily because a Domi is more valuable than a Mantha on your team, and I get that Mete is also included over there too, but Mete is in this weird spot, because the way that it's framed, the way this trade proposal, this idea is framed in general, it just kind of acts as if Mete is okay, let's add on this piece just so that the trade value is equal, so that Yzerman would say yes. It's not necessarily like they need somebody of a Victor Mete's caliber. Now, am I saying that the Red Wings would refuse getting a Mete instead of not getting a Mete? No, I'm not saying that. Going towards the long-term future, the team would probably be in better hands with Mete in the lineup instead of, I don't know, a Jonathan Ericsson or a Trevor Daley. It's just, to me, the value of Mantha is being kind of overlooked in this situation. And it's to the point where I believe that Mantha is going to be so good in this league that even if you offer a Domi and a Mete for him, it's not enough. The Red Wings have cap space. They're going to be able to re-sign Anthony Mantha, a guy who many Red Wings fans believe can probably score 40 goals consistently throughout his career once he remains healthy and once he settles in more into his prime. And for a guy who played half the season, but was just under half a point a game in that season, as the best point producer points per game wise on the worst team in the salary cap era, I think you're underrating him if you're saying that Domi and Mete alone would be enough to get it done. That's kind of why I know Red Wings fans who have seen this idea have said that they really don't like it. And I get Montreal fans on the other side saying, well, we have Domi and Mete. And I get that there are so many people who are still believers in Victor Mete, and I am one of those as well. It's just what you're trading in this scenario is the potential that Domi can go back to form, where he was at a 70-point pace, where he was a very capable top 6 center. It's the potential that Domi rebounds from a bad year. It's the potential that Mete gets better for a player who has already been a point-per-game caliber player and who looks towards just becoming better in Anthony Mantha. The risk versus reward here is much more guaranteed for Anthony Mantha than it is with Domi and or Victor Mete. Because to me, the odds of Domi staying the way he was, where he dipped from 70 points to 40 points in a year, maybe even gets worse, and he's not able to get himself back up to speed. The potential of that happening to me is more likely than the potential of Anthony Mantha not getting better. And as for Victor Mete, he's a guy who it's gonna take a lot for that kind of playing style to work. Victor Mete, I think Habs fans all know this, he plays a very, very weird, unique kind of game. And it's one of those games that when I watch him in the offensive zone, I go, how the heck does this guy not have like 40 or 50 points? He quarterbacks the line, he skates really well with it. It's just the overall decision making and the defense, it's not really there for Mete. And in order for this kind of guy to go and become the best version of himself, the Victor Mete that the Canadiens drafted all the way back in 2016 in the 4th round, by the way, a lot is going to need to go right. And to me, the potential of Victor Mete becoming the best version of himself is a lot less likely, in my opinion, than the potential of Anthony Mantha going the opposite and declining in his overall production and his value as time goes on. And to be honest, Victor Mete doesn't even really seem like the kind of guy that Yzerman would go after. Just taking a look at his recent acquisitions, especially throughout the 2019 NHL Draft, Antti Tuomisto, the really strong two-way play, Moritz Seider, the even stronger two-way play, the prospect profile of Albert Johansson, Victor Mete doesn't really seem like the kind of left-handed D that Yzerman would want to go after. He's small, he's shifty, he almost likes to quarterback shifts on his own, and that in itself is a risky style of game. That's not kind of what Detroit is going for here. And it's also kind of why I believe that it's going to take so much for this kind of guy to pan out to the best of his ability. But again, if I'm Marc Bergevin and Steve Yzerman says, hey, we'll give you Mantha for Domi and Mete, I say yes 100 times out of the week. Because just to me, the guarantee of short-term success that you have with Anthony Mantha is much stronger than that of Mete and or Domi, and the long-term potential of Mete and or Domi is not enough to supersede the discrepancy in short-term value. Because Mantha also has some good long-term potential as well. Knock on wood, he stays healthy. And besides, they're both RFAs that need contracts today. This is just a trade for the sake of making a trade. If the Montreal Canadiens are shopping Domi, then I guess you go after all options and you take a look at all options too. But this idea that has been brought up to my attention is just a little bit too heavily favored on the Montreal side. Especially since Mantha could legitimately be argued to being the best Red Wings player in the entire 2019-20 season. You're not getting that out of Montreal in this trade. Now, obviously, thinking about the possibilities is pretty nice. Suzuki and Mantha on one first line would be absolutely amazing, and I certainly would love to see how that could go out. And at the same time, if Victor Mete pans out to the best that he can, having him play with the Moritz Seider to balance out the discrepancies in size, I guess, would be a really interesting pairing to watch. Seider and Mete, really good puck movement on both ends, with the big guy and the small guy. That would certainly be a very interesting pairing to watch, but again, I don't really know on the practicality of that. Now, let's say the Canadiens and the Red Wings do indeed explore a Mantha-Domi trade. The Domi side is plain and simple gonna have to have more than just Victor Mete. There's a reason why it was included in this kind of article, because, oh, Victor Mete is just an add-on piece into this idea here. I don't think it's enough. If you have that 16th overall pick, then maybe we start thinking about it, but even then, I don't even know if Domi and 16 would be enough for Mantha, especially since they're both RFAs. Actually, you know, I kind of take that back. Thinking about the prospect that would be available at 16, maybe that would be enough, actually. But regardless, maybe this is just me kind of hating on Domi, but like, I am such a big believer in Anthony Mantha, especially taking a look at the most recent season that they had. Mantha just keeps on getting better, Domi has gotten worse. So, to me, there is more opportunity for a Mantha to become better, and a more progressively realistic, positive direction for Mantha's game than there is with Max Domi. So, to me, it's not even close. If you want to get Mantha, just try offer sheeting the guy. I mean, it's going to not work because Yzerman and his team have a lot of cap space, but it's going to be difficult to pry Detroit away from the best player they had in 2019-20. I'm just going to say that right there. So if you're a fan of the Red Wings or the Habs, then let me know what you think in the comment section below. I know I have fans of both of those individual fan bases in this comment section because I am a Habs and a Red Wings fan too. So I think I'm a little bit more applicable to identifying the values of all this stuff, and in my humble opinion, which it's pretty much that, it's just an opinion, I don't think it's enough. So tell me if I'm right, tell me if I'm wrong. I hope you enjoyed this video. So that's Roast to 99, and bye.